Incredible game. The Lions win. And man, so many things on this game. I mean, first of all, you gotta hand it to the Rams. They're good. And their offense really is a tough matchup for our defense. And yet our defense, you have to give them credit. They look like they were getting torched. It felt like they were getting torched. They were getting torched, but they stopped the run. That's what they've done all year. They stopped the run, and the red zone defense is great. Remember against Denver, they played great in the red zone. The Lions defense, you have to hand it to them. You have to hand it to them. And it's incredible that they were able to stay in there. Craig,
we got it, baby.
I was just talking about the defense. Looked like they were getting torched. They were getting torched. Didn't feel good. Yet you got to hand it to the defense, keeping us in the game, holding them to field goals. That's the difference.
Dude, this is all you. This is exactly what you said. The last few games, we get torched by Mullins, right? 2 out of the last 3 games. We got Jefferson going off. We got CeeDee Lamb going off. And you look up and it's 20 points, 24 points, right? And that's what it was. And that's exactly what it was today. Stafford goes off, 23 points.
Game over. And that wins you every time. And then our offense, don't you just feel good about our offense? That 4 minutes right here at the end, it's just like, this is what we want. Our offense with the ball was able to get it done.
Our offense with the ball. And then here's what I love. In true Dan Campbell fashion, he says, hey, 4 wide. Let's go. 4 wide. I don't even know what Chris is doing. He's probably turning off his TV or something. But like in true Dan Campbell fashion, 4 wide, I'm just going to throw it. I'm just going to throw the ball coming out of the 2-minute warning. And I'm like, don't be too conservative. He wasn't too conservative. No. He just is like, nope, we're throwing it to the guy we've thrown it to all year. Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Isn't it great to have a coach that gets it? There is absolutely, if we punt there, we lose. And so there is no running the clock down. There is no milk the clock, give it back to them with 50 seconds left.
Right.
We have to get a first down. Otherwise, you might as well just take the ball right from us and go walk in the end zone or kick a field goal. So it's like, it doesn't do you any good to give them the ball back with 50 seconds left. You have to get a first down. And I was thinking to myself, do whatever you have to do to get it to St. Brown. And so little did I know it would be just a literal 8-yard hitch, first down.
Super simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like super simple. Like, and I'm just sitting here and I don't know about you, but when there's about 10 minutes left, 10, 9, 8 minutes left, the Rams have the ball. And I'm just like, this is setting up for the Rams to score, us to score. And then Matthew Stafford's got the ball.
Yep.
Right. They were down 20. We were up 24-20. And Matthew Stafford would end up having the ball and going for the win. But instead, what happens is Rams have to settle for a field goal again. They have to settle for a field goal again. And then we just go down and milk the clock. We get the ball with 4:09 or something like that left. And see ya. It's done.
And didn't this feel like, Craig, that this was the team that we're going to look back and be like, we got past the Rams. And that kind of, I feel great about anybody else. I mean, that just felt nerves. It felt a lot of different feelings with Stafford, not just Stafford, but he plays well. Their offense is a terrible matchup for us. And then their defense is just good enough. And we're going to look back and be like, that was the big game, getting past them, monkey off all the things. You check every box. The Lions continue to impress us. So going forward now, it's like, let's go. Who's next?
Now it feels like the Packers probably felt. It's just it's money, right? Like this is just go play. Who cares? And it's it just feels like it's house money at this point. So
now
we get to go out and play. And I was thinking about something. I was watching the Cleveland Browns Houston Texans game yesterday. Cleveland rested all their starters and they came out flat. They came out really bad. We didn't rest our starters. Laporta gets hurt, but Laporta somehow, by some miracle, he's Superman, makes it back for this game, and we look sharp. Like, we look sharp. So we should have rested our starters people. No. But Dan Campbell can coach, man. He had this team ready for that game. We were firing on all cylinders. And then when the big names and the experience of the main players on the Rams started to take place and kick in, like they started slowly creeping back. But you got to give it to the defense. Bend but don't break. True meaning of bend but don't break today. As much as I hate that philosophy.
Oh, absolutely. But there's a reason for that, because it's the red zone. It's the whole science of it all. There's less space. You have to, be good in the red zone. And the Lions were great. But yeah, talk about this comment real quick. This was huge.
Yeah. So let's just talk about Badgley for a second. Like Riley Patterson, like this has been a kicking disaster for us. That's the only thing Brad Holmes has 100% not gotten right, is he can't find a kicker. So we get rid of Prater, who's still kicking like a boss in Arizona. And then we have kicker. We get rid of Riley Patterson. Then we give up a 7th round pick to get Riley Patterson back. And then we cut Riley Patterson. And all of these things keep happening, but it ends up with Badgley. It ends up with Badgley kicking a 54-yarder, and he just straight nailed that kick. It was right down the middle.
Yeah, and punting was huge for us too. We threw them down on the 10-yard line a couple times, and man, the Rams are just a tough matchup for us. That I just feel as that game got going, I'm like, this is how you run an offense, and especially against us. The motion, they fake the motion, they pretend to motion, and then they don't. It's just like, oh, this is, and you see our guys pointing. CJ Gardner-Johnson's rusty, but it doesn't matter. The point is, they get through it. They stop them in the red zone, and offensively, we're so sharp there in the beginning, innovative. But how about just the crowd? I mean, you knew it was going to be great, and so just shout out to the crowd and just what that atmosphere was like.
Yeah, and I mean, we had a good friend of ours at the game, right? I mean, you had a couple. I mean, obviously, there's going to be friends at the game, because if the whole state of Michigan could fit into that stadium, it would. It seemed like everybody knew multiple people going to that game, and I'm telling you right now, like, they said it was electric. They said it was almost like a concert or something crazy like that. Like fans were going nuts. And like it played a role. There's no doubt about it. And guess what? We get to do it again next week.
Right.
Thank you so much, Green Bay. Appreciate you.
Yep. And that's the key, is another one next week. So that's the best we could have really hoped for. We weren't going to be the 1 seed really at really any point in the season. So it's not like, oh, we let the 1 seed slip. It's like, no, the best we were really going to be is the 2. And it worked out. And Aiden Hutchins said this is a team of destiny, and he talked about that blown call when he was at Michigan against Michigan State, and how that was really galvanizing, how they went on to win the Big Ten and beat Ohio State and all that. And he's like, this same thing. He's like, same thing. And so you see it where Dallas gets knocked out, and the Lions get that essentially 2 seed now, and in home game, and bring it. I mean, you look at our opponent. Yeah, someone put in the comments, nobody right here. What other quarterback is going to be throwing it sidearm, slinging it to Nakua? Oh my gosh, dude, that was crazy. We're in great shape going forward, man.
That offense may have been the best remaining offense outside of San Francisco, because Philly's looking rough, right? Like the Bucks haven't looked good, and that's what we have left. I mean, the Packers look solid too. They really do. But it's, man, this is so nice. Like you see this, like, how will I sleep tonight? And I don't know, but I know I'm not going to fall asleep for a couple hours. That's for sure. I mean, I don't know about you, Chris. How was your stomach feeling this game? You feeling good?
Yeah,
you feeling
great question. I felt really weird this whole game, because it was, I don't know. I just felt really, this is the most nervous I've been for a game ever. And
including the Michigan National Championship on Monday.
Oh yeah. It's like, that is just like, all right, cool. There's 132 teams in the NCAA or whatever, and just like, whatever. It's so hard to do that you're happy with beating Ohio State and
winning the Big Ten.
Yeah. But this is like, man, this team's like legit. They're not messing around. Dan Campbell, we know what it was like when he got here in 2021. We know that, the number 1 wide receiver was Williams, that guy that never even made the roster. He's like the number one receiver. We had no, just it was so bad. And then to see Dan Campbell, it's like, dude, we got something here. And to have those guys actually pull it off I still can't believe it.
Let's set the stage for this, because yes, my stomach absolutely was in knots. Like you said, this is the game that we look back on and we say we beat the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Is it more we beat the Rams, or is it more we beat Matt Stafford? Is it more like, or is it more Jared Goff overcomes the Rams past, officially moves on? Or is it simply a realization that our team is that much more talented and this coach GM combo knows what's going on? Like, what do you think it is? Like, because I agree with you, this is massive. This feels like a huge turnaround. This game made me excited for tonight, but I've never been more excited for the future ever.
Yeah. That's it. It's everything. It's everything. And there's like, you could start listing, if we sat here and really went through it, it's 11 things where it's like the Goff story, the whole past, how the Lions have it's not just that the Lions were bad. We know that we know the history, but then on top of that, it was blown calls and just the most ridiculous calls on top of that.
Yeah.
And then, just horrific calls. Stafford in the past would bring us back. So there's just constant stress with this team. And so all of it leads up to this moment where you check off so many boxes this season against the Chiefs week 1, NFC North champs, and then home playoff game, and then win in the home playoff game. It's all just like, you can finally now we can just play and be a real NFL team and just be, like we check so many things off. Does that answer your question at all?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, because it's just crazy for me, because I don't understand it, because we win a wild card game, right? We're going to the divisional round, probably the biggest victory in franchise history, to be completely honest. I mean, if you go since 1957, I understand the 91 game against the Cowboys was big. I understand that. This feels like a big change. And so we see this game as a massive, probably the biggest win ever. And my brain immediately starts going to next year and the year after and the year after. I don't know why I'm just skipping over the divisional round and the hopefully NFC championship and a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, I won't be when we get there, but It's just so much excitement for the future. 70 million almost in cap space. Like, what do you do with it? Like, I'm just excited to see what people do going forward, because I've never had this much trust in any one of my teams. Like,
no.
The only thing that was close to this was a trust level we had with Dumars when the Pistons won a championship.
Yeah, no, you're right. You just look across the street to the Pistons, and there's no guarantees. It's like, well, eventually you've got enough first round picks, or you're bad enough. No, we've seen it with the Lions, we've seen it with the Pistons. Like, there's no guarantees, and so
there's no guarantee.
To do this is crazy. And so, man, another home game. Now you can say we're like kind of deep in the playoffs, because now you win one more and you're in the NFC Championship game. And so the whole thing is like, here's the thing. Like, when I look at this game and why the Lions are legit is because the Lions stop the run and they're good in the red zone. You cannot deny that anymore. And I know it's like high flying. They're throwing the ball all over. It doesn't feel good, but like we've said, we give up 20 points, 21 points, 24 points. That's going to win you games, because offensively we're really skilled, and that we're innovative and skilled offensively, and we can defensively hang in there enough. So it's like, dude, all right, let's go. And a home crowd? Are you kidding me? Next week the team's going to walk in here and just kill us? No. I love it.
And you said we're so good at stopping the run, and we're so good in the red zone, and we're good in the red zone because we're so good at stopping the run.
Yes.
Because you make a team one-dimensional in the red zone, and everything just gets too tight, especially inside the 10. We saw it this week. And then there's that big difference too, when it's 1st and goal from the 9 and your first down run gets you to the 8. And now all of a sudden you have to pass. It makes you extremely one-dimensional. This team is a legitimate threat, I think. Chris, are you feeling that? Like, they can beat almost anybody. That Rams team, 7 of 8. They were hot. I know we talked about who the opponents were, but when you watch them, you're just like, oh, dang, that's a scary team. They're going to be good next year too.
Yeah, they impressed me. They really
Yeah.
did. I mean, that was a very and they had their chances and they couldn't convert in the red zone. But yes, this feels like a team that can go. You just look at the potential opponents next week at home, the way they're
Yeah.
playing. Okay, and then that would lead. So yeah, I mean, just one more win. Even this wins like it's a great season. I'm good. I'm see you next year. I'm fine. But now it's like, yeah, what another win in NFC Championship game? That's
I don't want to
crazy.
get greedy.
I know. I don't want to get greedy, but all right.
But I don't think anybody wants to lose a playoff game. I mean,
Oh,
this is just exciting. Hey, Scott said the atmosphere is amazing. I wonder if he was there. You
oh
know,
yeah.
were you there, Scott? Would love to know, man. Would love to know. And by the way, can I talk about officiating for a second?
Yeah, yeah,
Can I
yeah.
do that? I know it seems weird to do, but I'm actually going to say good job to the officials. All right.
Mhm.
We're even going to give a little one of these because in the first half, I was mad. Like I was mad at the officials. I thought there was a hit to the head against Reynolds that should have been called. I thought the Gibbs was a late hit out of bounds. I was mad about the false start, the offsides that was called a false start, right? I was frustrated about all that stuff. But then in the second half, we did all those same things and they still didn't call it. I
Yep.
thought there was a pass interference on us that they didn't call. Well, we had a pass interference on Nakua that they didn't call. Like, I thought the officials stayed consistent. I don't know how you felt, but I felt like it was a well official game.
I do too. In general, don't throw flags. Like, like if you that's the way and that's what I mean. It went both ways. There was a couple I'm like, dude. And then same way it went with us. I was like, oh, please don't throw it. Come on. We're giving our heart and soul out here, both teams. And
Dying.
you cannot throw a flag on a there was the one late where Nakua, first of all, and this is why those guys wear that. I finally figured it out. The loose shirt underneath.
Yeah.
It's like because I'm like, why would you want that? But it's like it looks, I mean, the thing stretches out there.
Yes.
It's like he's wearing a dress. Like
Yeah.
we're playing our hearts
He's
out.
not even touching it. That thing's just flapping in the wind.
Yes.
Like it's not even a hold.
I agree with you. I loved it. Thought it was well officiated. Come on. This is
Come on.
yeah, I love it.
This is fantastic. So what was your favorite part? I'm going to ask everybody else here, but Chris, I'm going to ask you too. What was your favorite part of the game? Like, what was the thing as you think back on the game? You're like, this is it. Like, maybe it was a turning point. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But give me your favorite moment in the game and throw it to us in the comments as well.
My favorite was the first drive right down the field and score. And I felt like that's what we needed. The crowd was already in a frenzy, so it didn't matter. But, you just didn't want to go 3 and out there or something. So to go right down the field, run it in, it just was like, all right, this is going to be, we're going to be fine.
We'll be fine.
Yeah. And so that was my favorite moment. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's a weird one, but the one that sticks out to me, it was a third down, and it was a throw on the left side outside the numbers, which Goff apparently can't do, but he can, right? And it was to St. Brown, and St. Brown basically wrestled the ball away from the guy, ducked, and then ran for another 10, 15 yards.
Yep.
And I was just like, man, these guys are playing in their first playoff game. Like that's St. Brown's first playoff game. And then it was just people making play after play after play. And that just felt so good. Like that felt,
dude, making plays. Yes. This whole season, I look at this Lions team and I'm like, is this what it's like? Because it's like making plays and in crunch time. And can we just talk about St. Brown? I mean, the guy after the game, I don't know if you saw this, but it's like everyone's hugging and I get it, man. It's emotional. And he's just like got blue hair and he's just like taking his stuff off. Like it's just practice. Cause the dude practices like this. This is his level constantly. So St. Brown is
every practice to St. Brown is the Super Bowl. So a wild card is just a playoff game.
Oh yeah, dude.
And I think that's kind of the mentality of this whole team. Hey, by the way, first time ever on a live show that we're over 1,000 people simultaneously.
Awesome.
Which is pretty cool. Thank you everybody for watching. That's so cool. It's been a fun year with everybody. And this isn't it. Like we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Ooh. Rain or shine, win or lose next week. We'll be back.
Josh Reynolds. Talk about him in the first half,
Yes.
man. He is sneaky.
Massive.
He's fast. I like Josh Reynolds.
People forget. Everybody talks about Goff,
Mhm.
and he leaves the Rams, right? But we picked up Josh Reynolds halfway through the year 3 years ago, right? In Campbell's first year, and he was a Ram too with Goff. And it was kind of one of those things where like, all right, we're done with you, Josh, when Stafford got in there. So those two guys making plays in the first half to each other. At one point, I think Goff had thrown for 90 some yards and Reynolds had 75 of
Yeah.
them or something like that. That was fantastic.
He,
That was
he's
really cool. I felt good for those guys.
oh man, and I felt good for dude. That was just magical at the end. I can't wait to go back and watch the. We kind of jumped on here live, but just the end. It's like, man, this is like playoff big time football. We're doing it. We're we're doing it.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how it felt. Was
This is what good teams feel like.
yeah, there's a lot, like there's a lot of cameras on the field and stuff. Like it just felt really, really cool. And you see all the stars there and stuff, and it's just like, man, do it again next week. Crazy.
Do it again next week. And here's the thing, Jared Goff threw outside the numbers consistently, but also there was that pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown that he just floated, and it was like a 25-yard pass.
Yes.
And I was like, I looked at my wife. We were watching. I'm like, I have never seen him make that throw in my entire life. In his entire career, I've never seen him make that.
Dude.
And
Nope.
and so when he made that, I was like, I think we're going to be okay. And then his immobility started to creep in. The Rams found a way.
Yep.
Raheem Morris, good defensive coordinator. He started finding a way to get pressure on us. And so we have some adjustments. We have some things that we need to change for the next one. But watching this team do what they've done really over the last year and a half, which was just milk the clock and have a drive when you need to have a drive.
How about
And it
this
was
one?
Montgomery, and
Yeah.
it was wow, crusty muffin. He's a little should be salty muffin.
Yeah, sorry. No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was thinking about this. The back end combination.
He backed it up, by the way.
He's slow. He is undersized. Like he's not like a thick run stuffer. He's not a Cam Chancellor, if you will. And
No.
he makes me nervous. But yeah, no, I was just gonna say defensively, we're steps slow, and just I don't want to jump ahead to next year and all this because it's like embrace this, obviously. But I mean, Brett Holmes is gonna be like, all right, we need speed on defense. Like, just wait until I figure that out and fix it. So don't worry. So we're good. I love it.
It feels like Brad Holmes has drafted with the RAS, the relative athletic score, in his belief or in his like central being is just draft fast, good athletes everywhere.
Yeah.
Except the secondary.
Yep. Hasn't gotten there yet. Just like we haven't gotten there yet.
So you're right. Kirby Joseph, it's really weird because when the ball's in the air, it feels like he has decent closing speed, right? Like as a free safety, like he'd be a good center fielder, but he does not have great speed at all.
No.
And he doesn't tackle that well. And I know Puka Nacua makes a lot of people look like that. But I also don't think it was a coincidence that you saw a lot of Iffy and CJ Gardner-Johnson in together at the same time.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, CJ was better this game than he was last week, which you'd expect. I did get mad. I got very frustrated one time at my boy CJ. All right. I got really, that's a great picture of Goff. That has to be Goff, right? I think that's got to be Goff. But anyways, did you see it when CJ Gardner-Johnson was crawling on the field celebrating a tackle when they just converted a 3rd and 8, the Rams?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's this guy Sutton is worrying me. Yes,
thank you.
But man, the bottom line is, and this is the thing we keep going back to, defensively, we stop the run and we're good in the red zone. Offensively, our offensive line's healthy. And so when our offensive line's healthy, we gave Goff a lot of time, and you have to really clean the pocket up. You saw a couple times where he gets in any sort of trouble and it's like, don't, man. And it's his natural instinct. Like, duh, what's he just going to go down? Like, he's trying to do something, and that's scary. But so my point is, the offensive line, credit to them, ran the ball and protected Goff. That's the recipe, and that's where.
Yep.
And at home next week again, survive and advance. How could you not be feeling really good right now?
Yeah, you're going to work in the quiet. That offense is going to be able to work in the quiet again. And that's exactly what you want, because this offense with Goff, everything around him needs to work in harmony, because he's not going to be able to adjust to it. But I'm telling you right now, when he has it, the dude is elite when he has time. We've said it all year. We said it at the back end of last year. We said it last year, to be honest with you. Like, wow.
Dude. Yes. Thank you, Steve, for joining. And we
man, this is fun.
We have a team that can just, you said it, Goff can make the plays. The defense is good enough. Like we keep trying to hammer that home, and because everybody's so nervous. And by the way, you want to talk about living and dying. Remember the 2004 Pistons, obviously. You're living and dying every time down the court, right? This was, I wonder what it would be like truly living and dying in football, because we're excited every week. You're watching the Lions. But this was every snap, man. Living and dying. Oh,
every snap, living and dying. I got a question for you. I'm reading this comment that said Stafford going home sore and Goff going home happy, right? There were some boos, my friend, like heavy. And we had an inside man in the stadium that was saying, and by the way, thought about going to the game, but wanted to be here live with all these people afterward. Why go to a stadium with 67,000 when you can be here with 1,300? But he was saying the boos were not like, oh, boo, we're supposed to boo you. It was like, I hate you with all of my being, boos for Matt Stafford and everything. Is it just because there was so much on the line? Or do you think people all of a sudden found some deep hatred for Matt Stafford? Like, how do you feel about it? Where are you at with it?
I don't
try to put you on the spot. Talk about it.
No, I love it. I think you've waited all week for this. You're playing Stafford. You go to the game, you drive there, you tailgate, you're drinking, you're excited. You got there 3 hours early. You walk in, the gates finally open, the doors open, you get in. You're dying to do something. And so here comes a reason to make some sort of noise. And what are you gonna like? You're not gonna cheer.
Can't cheer.
So do you just stand there? No, you're making a noise, and that's how I take it. And I don't think it didn't bother me at all, because I think we all would agree that Stafford, love you, man, great job here, but you ultimately wanted to leave. You got your Super Bowl. We're on to Goff. We're all in on Goff. Don't hate you, but no, I don't know what else to do other than just boo you. So they were so amped up. I see what you're saying for sure, but I think that's what happened mostly.
I think it would have been funny if people started yelling out like, I moderately like you.
Yeah. Like, exactly. I don't hate you, man, but I need to make some noise, okay? So I'm going to boo you. Yeah.
I think the boo is what is actually being said, and it is, Stafford, thank you so much. I love you, but you already won a Super Bowl, so screw you.
Yeah. Exactly. If I could do that, I would, but I just gonna go with boo. Yeah,
dude, I never even thought of that, because I was just like, come on, Detroit, why are we booing the crap out of them? But you're right, you have to make noise.
Yeah.
Like, and what's gonna happen? Boos are gonna come out, and then people are going to increase the boos. Get it? See what I did there? Boos increase the boos.
And you're just like, alcohol. Yes. And so if you're booing, my guy's booing. Exactly. It was one of those, it just kind of there's a scientific word for it, where just a crowd, literally crowds enhances the crowd. It's like being at a comedy show where you're just like,
absolutely,
I know I'm supposed to laugh, so and you're there and everybody else is laughing, so you're laughing. It's like, it's not really that funny, but
it must be fun.
Yeah, we're here laughing. Oh man.
Another question for you. We talked about Stafford. Let's go on the other side of it, because I want to talk about Goff. Darn it. I mean, but have you had any change in feelings for Jared Goff after this game? Are you more all in? Is it just one game? You feel the same about him? Like, is there something about him that you like more or less? Talk to me about Jared Goff after beating his old team.
I will always just be very impressed with the way he came here. I know it's been talked about a million times, so I'm not going to talk about it but it really, if you really remember, it's like he goes from a Super Bowl contender straight up, and we see how hard that is. And he
Went
goes to
to
this,
the Super Bowl. Yeah.
yeah, and they go and win, and then they go on and win, and he's at this bad franchise, and he just says all the right things. He has to think of all the media sessions that they're asking him, and I just was so impressed with how he just came in here. It's like, man, I hope we can win one day with this guy. But remember,
Yep.
the first year and a half, it's like he ain't the guy, man, because he's, I don't know, he's not mobile, all this stuff, and it's like, no, dude, this guy's legit, and he's a gamer, he's a baller, and so I love it, and I just hope he can keep it going. What about you?
Yeah, I think I like him more. I think
Yeah.
with all the emotions, because they were there. I mean, he flat out admitted like it broke him.
Yeah.
Right. And this coaching staff had to build him up, build him up, build him up, build him up. And for him to look across the sidelines, not only at the quarterback that used to play in Detroit, that everybody has this weird obsession with, but also at Sean McVay, the man that ran him out of town in the state he grew up in too, in California.
Yes.
And like he loves it out there. For him to look across and to have the ice water in his veins to start those first 3 drives, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown.
Yep.
And just be able to just right at the beginning be like, no, I'm your guy. That was amazing. That showed some serious mental toughness and fortitude.
100%. And that was the game. I mean, just to be able to set the tone like that. And then you knew that third quarter, we've struggled all year in the third quarter. It's just like, you knew it was going to be tight. I mean, you just did, but man, for the Lions to hang in there and win this game is just, I mean, we checked everything off. And that's why, I mean, like now it's just like, we can just go play now and we've proven like we're a normal franchise. Finally, it took beat the Chiefs opening night, beat the Super Bowl champs, NFC North champs, playoff game, win that playoff game against Stafford. I mean, you just check. It's like, all right, let's just go. Oh man, it's so cool, man. It's just awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to ask that question. Is it enough if we go and lay an egg to the Bucks or the Eagles next week?
Absolutely. We just won our first playoff game in 30 years. I won't even, like, if we just like, we're going to stop the season and we're not playing anymore, I'd be like, sounds good. See you guys next year. But
that's awesome.
Obviously, let's go. But come on.
Obviously, let's win it, please.
Yeah. But come on. This is, I mean, you can't, what more could you ask for? This is what you would have said beginning of the season, 100%. You wouldn't have said, oh, dude, we got to win the Super Bowl. You've been like, dude, if we could win the division. And you look back, and now the division, it's like Packers are good. It was not easy, man. I love it.
So can we just say there was still some AG gotta go comments and stuff like that? Which is interesting. The offense won the first half. The defense won the second half. We understand that, right? Like the offense scoring 21 points in a half is super impressive. The defense only allowing 6 points in a half is equally as impressive, if not more.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. What was the line on this game was 52. And in the first 6 possessions, I think the over-under was 52 and a half, somewhere in there. And in the first 6 possessions, we had 38 points. 38 points. And they didn't make the line.
They
didn't make it.
Dude, and I know, and 0-6 in the red zone, and that was the difference because they can't run the ball. So then you're throwing it in there, and there's not a lot of space, and it's just this defense, as much as it's been dogged, is secretly kind of set up pretty good because you
set up for the red zone.
The run. Yeah, you can stop the run. So then that yes, it leads to people throwing it. So it looks to your eyes, it does not look good. I get that. But then it's like, well, it doesn't because they have to throw. So they're throwing more, which leads to whatever. They get down to the red zone. That's where we're really strong. Love it, man.
Well, and that's a beautiful thing. And also the lack of speed in the secondary doesn't hurt us as much.
That's right. Someone just said it. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Craig. Yeah, nice. We can't get burned out. No, because we got guys and we're creative down there too. Like that's another thing. the Aaron Glenn creativity works down there because we can't get burned. But
Right.
we try to get creative out in midfield, and it's like, okay,
Oh boy.
dude.
Oh boy.
I just go back to and let me know what was the worst part of the game for you, or the worst play for you, where you're just like, dude, like, can you remember
Yeah.
what that was? Yeah,
I can absolutely remember Tutu Atwell
yeah.
against Vildor. And the reason I can remember it is because we were talking last night. We were talking live, and you're like, what's the thing you're worried about the most? And I was like, I can tell you the thing I'm worried about the most. It's those quick receivers, Robinson and Atwell, going against Vildor, going against Sutton, going against Kirby Joseph, and our lack of speed. And I was just like, oh crap, it's happening. Like, it's not just Cup and Nakua. It's not just Cup and Nakua. And now it's 2-2, and I'm just terrified. And I was feeling really, really nasty about that one.
Yep. That's a good one. That's a good one. Mine was, there was a stretch, first of all, just of commercials that I've never in my life. I that's my biggest pet peeve in my life. But what are you going to do? They could play another 100 commercials. What are you going to do? But there was like a 3-and-out. There was like this little stretch.
I remember that,
dude.
I was like, what are we doing?
I was like, I thought I mentioned
3
this.
sets of commercials in like 6 minutes.
Yes, there was a ton. So that was my worst, because it's like huge third down, and it's like, oh, there was like a timeout, and it's like, oh, okay, come back.
By the way, can I just ask you this question? Did you watch the whole game on NBC?
Yep.
Was the school closing bar down there the whole time?
I don't know if I know for sure at the beginning, but I don't think it was the whole time.
You don't think it was there the whole time? Because I just gave up and I went to Peacock.
Yes.
I did that.
And it
was just like, as soon as it was there, and it was a smaller box, and it didn't even look like full HD. You know how sometimes when they put the local station puts the graphics up, you have to deal with their not as good graphics for everything. And I'm just like, I'm not doing this. I'm going to Peacock. I was mad at them last night because you had to have it to watch the wild card game, but I'm happy today because I have Peacock.
Yeah, and
actually got it for a Michigan game.
My worst moment was I think there was one of Nakua's catches where it's like he is faster than all of our secondary. It was like this moment of like, okay, he truly is like faster than our secondary and more physical. So I was just like, man, this is not good. But I love this comment because you got to give our defense credit, man. We were hitting. We were making some plays, and you know what? We did not cause a turnover, nor did we turn the ball over. And I just felt like that's going to be the game, right? Okay, this one right here, Hutch.
Yes.
When we needed him, he did it.
Did he or did he not feel like this entire game? You're looking at Hutch, and when a big play needed to be made, he was in there for a big play.
Oh.
Whether it was getting the holding penalty that would have been a sack, whether it was the actual sack, there was a lot of plays. Honest to goodness, Hutch is starting to feel like a Bosa. Hutch is starting to feel like the guy that completely alters the game.
Yes. And
love it.
We had to
better than Aaron Donald, by the way. Sorry.
We had to have something. And they were just driving out, it's just like, good. And that was that sequence where he got held. We accept the penalty. We're just like, ugh. And then that was the Nakua. We hit him. We're kind of holding his dress, and it's like, good, thank you. And yeah, that was huge sequence that won us the game, man. Love it.
Awesome.
I got to get out of here, Craig.
No, we got to go.
Okay.
No, we got to go, and that's okay. Everybody, enjoy it. It's been 32 years. Enjoy it. Enjoy it all week. Stand a little taller. All right. Stick your chest out a little bit.
Fight people at work
a little bit.
Fight people at work that don't like the Lions.
You ever heard that term, peacock? You're peacocking? Like, do it at work. Show them feathers. All right. Wear Lions gear all week. I don't care. This hat's never coming off. Another hat's gonna go on. I don't know. Like, Lions gear all week.
Love it.
Do it. Doesn't matter.
Oh, thank you everybody for being on, and we'll see you. We will see you.
Shay.
Oh, whoops. Dye your hair blue, everyone. Hey guys, please answer. Okay, right to the point. We'll see you. See ya.
See you, man. Bye, everybody.